just an update on the Kendrick and Drake beef. For y'all that didn't see it last week, we did like an hour-long rant about the Kendrick and Drake beef breakdown. So if you want, you can still go check that out. That video was put out prior to Drake dropping um, the Heart Part 6. But now, this is our update. So there's a mysterious Twitter account that is now posting some of the physical evidence that was used in the Meet the Grams album artwork. So some of the receipts, some items that might have been discarded or left around or stolen. They were recording from what looked like a Brooklyn penthouse apartment condo view. For those of you that don't know, Kendrick actually lives in New York, at least part-time or whatever. He at least bought something. He bought property in New York. So we can assume he spent some time in that place when he's in New York. And so that was the view, and it had all of the same items that were in the Meet the Grams album artwork. Now, it's starting to get a little spooky out here. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is starting to seem like a plot from Batman or something, because it was very mysterious. I think the most important thing out of everything from that video was the fact that they were using like a Panasonic, like crazy military type laptop, which was weird. I used to be in technology sales, so I used to sell those things. So we used to only sell that to literally like police and the government and, you know, the military. So that was the most interesting thing about that video to me, was just a little weird. I don't know why anybody would have that laptop sitting around, but yeah, so supposedly what this kind of more or less proves, Drake said that he was planting this mole and giving Kendrick all this fake evidence that he has a kid, and whatever evidence that Drake felt like Kendrick was using in his songs, like I don't know. This is where it gets weird. It's just like, what did Drake try to plant, right? I don't know.
I think he just saw that idea was running around online, because he liked the comment about somebody saying it was a fake mole. I think he liked that idea and ran with it.
Yeah.
So he just needed a defense.
Right.
But
it's not true. It's not. The only thing I could say, and let me explain more about it before we start trying to figure out whether it's true or not. All of the items, and there were also some additional items too, right? Like there were some items from Canada, like the CN Tower, like looks like little tourist information, news articles and stuff like that were in the video that person on Twitter posted. So it looked like there was a lot of evidence of just something that might have been discarded by Drake or stolen, because supposedly Drake's dad's luggage got stolen or something. I've been hearing a bunch of different theories about stuff, but I heard that was one of the things, that these items were not necessarily from Drake himself, but that they were his dad's.
Yeah.
But some of that stuff was in Drake's name, but it was really for his dad. So I've been hearing some theories about that.
That'd be interesting.
They posted some random.
Which that'd be kind of weird though.
It would, right?
Because why would you? Because it's Drake's name, so it's like if putting in his name is not very like secretive, you know. But then again, I feel like all the people that they get these like pharmaceutical drugs and stuff from are all within the Hollywood world. So it's not like anybody would be like necessarily snitching.
Right, and it's also a HIPAA violation.
Yeah,
too.
it's a HIPAA violation.
When you don't, if they could, because they'll trace it directly back to that doctor
and, find out who,
and that pharmacist,
or the nurse,
and then they would be done. But maybe it wasn't for his dad, but it was stolen from his dad's luggage, is from what I understand. Like,
why did his dad? Some of it, right? That's right. Yeah, I wonder what items were in his dad's luggage.
Yeah, they could have been the prescriptions.
Because that's what it seemed like they're saying. It's like some of it might have been from a luggage, or some of it might have been discarded.
Yeah,
like it just seemed like it was a collection of stuff throughout like over a year's time.
Right.
Could that camera footage that they're showing is January 2023. So.
Right. And for those of you that haven't seen it, there was, from this Twitter account, they're posting screen grabs, screenshots from a security camera footage from a hotel that Drake was at in 2023. So this is where it starts to get a little mysterious, because Drake said that he had this fake mole that was planting these ideas a week ago. It's been like in a week's time. They were planning it for a week, but we're seeing this evidence. It's from over a year ago. Yeah. Some of this stuff, at least when some of this stuff started being collected, but some things were closer in the time frame, closer to right now, basically over the last few months, that are giving us evidence. And I don't know, it's getting a little Batman-ish. Kendrick might be the Riddler.
I just want to know who's behind this page.
Yeah, the page is like, what is it? Ebony
Prince or something.
Ebony Prince.
Like
I know everybody
2K24.
was clowning the name, and that's why low-key people were theorizing that it might be Drake behind the account.
Yeah,
and
maybe he's like trolling.
Yeah, maybe he's trolling, and maybe that at name is to be even more funny.
And then the profile picture is like a Pan-African flag, like it's the green and red American flag. So it's supposed to be like, oh, like we was kangs, like one of those like, oh, we black, Africa, like you know some of these people are who are extra, very extra, like African Prince. Like I feel like he's trying to like lean into that, like whoever's behind the page. If it is Drake, like maybe he's trying to like be sarcastic because like he said like he thinks Kendrick is this fake woke, fake activist, free the slaves. So that's very like I feel like that embodies that image because so many people online who fly that Pan-African flag and try to act like, oh, we're one and we in the motherland, like they're just very like it's I don't know, it's very performative, very like extra lying, like try to like be Lion King-esque. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like those people.
Yeah, they're overly within the diaspora.
Yeah,
we're all
and we go back home. Yeah, we're going home. Like
the only thing is, I feel like Drake has definitely not enough culture to even know what Pan-Africanism even is.
Yeah, he might not know.
Yeah, and because he's from Canada, even.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's getting a little weird and spooky. But again, for context for everybody, the account posted and said that they have till Monday, I think, for Drake and academics to respond with a lawyer to take down all the accusations saying that those items were fake, and that academics and Drake were lying about the evidence being planted. So it gets a little even more spooky because we don't know who's behind this account. And again, now they're putting lawyers involved in it.
Yeah.
And if they don't, and there's some legal action, who knows what could possibly happen, right? Now you're talking about those diss tracks being taken down. Like it starts to get really deep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now we're bringing in the finance part of it, which this whole beef has been horrible for people money-wise. Which we could break down in a little bit, but that's basically the update as of now. The account keeps tweeting. People keep speculating whether it's Kendrick or not. At first I kind of thought it was a way for Kendrick to kind of dispel some of these rumors that Drake had the fake mole. But now as the account keeps tweeting, I'm like, this is definitely not Kendrick. Because it's starting to get a little unhinged. They're talking about Kevin Samuels. They're doing a whole lot of random tweets. And I'm like, okay, this is probably not Kendrick. It's confusing, yeah. Could be somebody that works for him. I don't know.
It could be the mole himself or herself.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Or Drake trolling. It could be a lot of different things. So we don't have any final information on this account yet.
We'll see if anything has happened since we've been on here.
We'll update. And while you're looking for that, in addition, since we last recorded, Drake's house has been targeted, I guess we could say, with different intruders coming onto the property, getting tackled by security and arrested. So there's a lot of fans that, Drake's information has been public in terms of his address forever.
Yeah.
Right. Like even though I hated you making me do this, but we drove by Drake's house before as well. Yeah. So it's on a very public street. It's not a gated community at all. Anybody can drive past it. It's just any typical suburb. But when we went out there, that same type of security car was out there.
It was I'm pretty sure there's 2 cars.
Yeah.
That front. It was just like regular cars. So it's definitely something that was like security type.
Because it had the number on it, which might have been the same car that we.
You think? Let me go back and look at the video.
Yeah, go look at the videos because it was definitely a security company.
When was that? August, July.
That was July. And so people have been trying to infiltrate the embassy for some reason. But also within that, the biggest story that came out of this was that Drake's security guard got shot in front of his house.
Yeah.
Now, some evidence, or at least an investigation, is starting to like.
Oh shit! It was that truck.
Yeah, it is a security truck.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same exact car.
That Jungle Lion security.
Yeah. So one of the cars, at least.
That's so crazy.
I don't know if there's multiple cars, but the car that was involved in the shooting, we drove past and it was outside there. But anyway.
That's so random.
Drake is now supposedly being investigated because the car that's associated with the shooting is a company that's owned really by Drake. It's a company that doesn't exist, but the car is registered to Drake. And
Chubbs, right? And
Chubbs is the head of security for Drake, and it's just like a little bit weird. Guns are not illegal.
Are they trying to insinuate though that this company was created like recently?
That's where it gets confusing.
Then obviously you could
But I
dispel
don't think
that
so,
because we have
because
the video evidence.
I don't think it was created recently, but it's more so like this company is not an actual company
Okay, yeah.
that exists where they can call and get information
Okay.
about what
Like,
happened.
yeah, and why the person was let in through the gate to
Right.
shoot you in the first place. Yeah.
Right. So like they have this is what is it, jungle something security?
Yeah, jungle lines.
It's not even actually a company. So
Yeah.
you can have private security, but you have a vehicle that's registered to Drake, but it's tied to a company that doesn't exist.
I wonder if that was supposed to be like a way to scare people or deter people, like the number
Yeah.
one Canadian security. But now they're finding out it was
Nothing.
which is kind of wild though. Why would Drake not have like legitimate security then?
I don't know. I think it's because I don't know.
It's kind of crazy.
But yeah, the theory, guys, is that Drake sent out a hit on his own security to take off some of the heat from that he's receiving from the Kendrick beef.
Yeah.
So there's of course a lot of conspiracy theories. One, did he do it to take the heat off of him getting cooked by Kendrick? Two, did he try to set Kendrick up and make it try to look like he's the one that set the shooting up at Drake's house?
So people could be like,
look at Kendrick crazy.
Far. Yeah.
Or three, was the security guard the mole Drake found out and now shot him? Now, first and foremost, we don't know. I don't know the name, at least, of the security guard that got shot. So he's in critical condition. So this is very real. There was actually a shooting. That part is not staged. But a lot of people are theorizing, and now Toronto police or Ontario police are investigating this because they can't track the company. There's a lot of weird question marks about this, and I'm sure there's a reason for everything, but it's starting to make people raise eyebrows a little bit about Drake and his involvement with the shooting here.
Yeah.
And
that's so crazy that we caught the truck on camera. Like, it's probably just one truck, right? So that's the truck.
Yeah, and also in addition to that, for a little bit of context for those that aren't that paying it that much attention to this beef, so this is a lot larger than just Kendrick. So there's also beef that Drake has had within Toronto in general for a long time, right? Just like with anywhere, you become popular, you make enemies. So Drake has enemies in Toronto that are people in rap, people that are street, quote unquote. I say street because it's Canada. No disrespect, but full disrespect. And people that are comparing street beef in America to Canada. But Cash XO, who is The Weeknd's manager, had his security guard shot up in LA a few days prior to this, or like a week or so prior to this. And people were saying that this could also be retaliation for that. Yeah. Now, the thing is, Cash XO's house got shot up in LA. Guns are more than legal in America. Canada is completely different. So somebody being able to get guns across the border, everything about it is just weird. There's a lot of question marks.
You wouldn't be able to get it across the border by driving.
Not at all.
And by plane, no. So it was like the gun either smuggled, somebody had clearance. It had to be someone who had clearance, which would be somebody maybe like a security company. Mm-hmm. He shot himself. Yeah.
It's all very confusing, but that's the latest beef update, basically. So now we're just going to wait to see
what's next.
What happens on Monday.
The page didn't tweet anything since the Kevin Samuels tweet, so.
We'll see what comes with that. We'll see what comes with the investigation of Drake.
I want to see if they ever release that security footage.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, that's what people are waiting for, like, the release of that footage, so we can see what was happening in the
hotel. For people that didn't see the screenshot, it's a screenshot of security footage of Drake in a hotel that supposedly has some ties to Weinstein or Weinstein support,
or Epstein too.
I'm sorry, was I saying Weinstein?
Yeah,
it's either Weinstein or
Epstein.
Epstein.
It's Epstein. On Twitter, yeah.
So Epstein, sorry, correction there. So Epstein and there's
always the Steens.
Yeah, there's OVO Juju is in the picture.
Say what people
and someone in a wheelchair that supposedly has some connections to DJ Khaled. So all this stuff gets real freaky, and the specific date, you could see that it's tied to some of the evidence in the Meet the Grams video in terms of like items being thrown out or discarded, and supposedly also too conspiracy theory that some of it might be considered an evidence bag, and that something happened that night that Drake might have made somebody mad, and so they took the evidence and had all that stuff in it. There's a lot of different conspiracies. I'm not substantiating anything until we get some evidence, but this is just kind of the latest update. If all this is true, everybody should stay away from Kendrick and leave that man alone.
Yeah.
Because this is some like Batman, Riddler Joker type shit I've never even seen before.
This could have been months planned out.
You clearly, because January 2023, like
Yeah.
that's a long time ago.
I'm
Like,
telling you, all this beef has inspired me. It's not even inspired me, but it made me wish like I've done my beefs better that I've had in life. Well, I feel like I've done my beefs pretty good. I've been I wasn't on my Riddler Batman, but I was on my chess moves and some of it. But it's like, damn, it's making me wish like he's inspiring me to beef better.
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Just that reverse Uno cards, that planning, that plotting, that foreseeing what your enemy is going to do, you know, and having your moves planned out already based off what you already know they're going to do, having the stuff set up in advance. It's very inspiring.
And Kendrick said that in Not Like Us, where he said, "Hey Drake, they're not slow." Nah, they're slow. You know,
maybe he's talking about his fans, Kendrick
the
fans.
public,
the Drake fans are slow.
Public education in this country is questionable. Luckily, we live in Jersey, where our education is number one in the country. But for everyone else confused as to why this disproves what Drake was saying, because I saw a lot of people confused about that and why people were replying saying, "Oh, Drake is cooked." For those of you that are confused, the reason why this shows that Drake is cooked is because he lied and said that there was evidence planted a week ago that there was all the drugs and the screenshot and the Maybach gloves, all this stuff was planted a week prior to the whole diss track push-ups and all that kind of stuff. So he was lying that there was some fake mole and OVO that he was paying to have Kendrick confused and work with, like,
and we knew he was lying.
Yeah, we know he was lying. He's not that smart.
Yeah,
like, not saying that he's not intelligent, but like, that's too calculated for.
And then somebody like Drake would have been reeling in the fact that Kendrick took the bait. He would have he immediately would have been doing some subliminals on Instagram, laughing. Something.
Yeah.
He didn't come up with that idea until he saw that Instagram comment.
Right. He would have had the diss track ready saying how you took the bait, but he didn't have that ready.
That would have been too funny. It
would have been too easy
to come up with a crazy, clever bar and like laughing in his face. He would have dropped the receipts of the messages between the fake mold, the FaceTime call. Everything would have been recorded or something.
Right.
To show like, oh, we about to get this nigga. He's so stupid. He believes that he took the bait. They would have had some type of evidence. He's zero.
Yeah. Nothing. And then also he then replied with The Heart Part 6, which was very bad.
Yeah.
And it had like, let me be fair. So it's not even a Kendrick bias. The beat is super tough. I wish it was saved for something else, but he was just in a situation he couldn't win, and that's what it sounded. It was just a backpedaling song. So the song wasn't what it could have been. So yeah, because at one point in the song he was saying, and whoever fed you information is whatever. Yeah. But then he said that we're the one that fed the information. So it's like he was backpedaling and tripped over his own words. Like he don't even know what he's saying. Yeah. So this was like this. He was not thinking that this would even happen, right? Like when he was asking for Kendrick to be on first person shooter. Yeah. You weren't planning this evidence, like expecting for Kendrick to come and dish you on like that. Like so, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why they're giving him that much credit for saying that he planned all this, but he definitely didn't. I think that this, if it's true, because we don't know who's behind this account, but having all the items themselves, it's a little curious. Yeah. And the one thing that makes me feel like it's not Drake is because why would Drake want to plant the idea of I'm on Ozempic and I'm on sleeping pills? Yeah. It's a little weird, like kind of what you're saying that you planted. Yeah. It's weird. Why would you want to put people on your head like that? Yeah. And just to like turn around and refute it, it's like weird kind of setup. Yeah. So I don't think it's him, but that's basically the latest update that we have for now. Yeah. And yes, Kendrick is a scary individual, and I couldn't have foreseen this 2 weeks ago. The public perception of Drake, it's
turned quick.
It turned quick. It's weird. Like this turned to something where it
does feel abnormal because like obviously you still have a lot of his fans are still riding for him, going crazy. There's still a lot of like likes and comments and people supporting Drake. Yeah. But I just feel like the general consensus right now is that like if the average person, if you were to ask them who might be tapped in a little bit, even if very minorly tapped in, are gonna say like Kendrick.
Yeah. And it's just bless you.
Oh, sorry.
Just the public perception change is so crazy. Like Who would have thought? And I know people secretly hated Drake. I know people publicly hated Drake.
Yeah.
But now it's making, at a minimum, everybody's looking at him differently.
Yeah, because like that's the thing too. A lot of evidence that's being compiled now, or like just presented.
People are like, huh?
Yeah, they realize a lot of people weren't even there. Too much stuff like that happened. Like,
Yeah.
so we think a lot. Like for me, like when I stopped liking Drake was around 2015, 2016. Like, how old was like our siblings then? Like our Maya and like your brother. Like how old were they when that happened? 2016. That was 9 years ago.
13.
8 years ago. 8 years ago. 2016.
13.
13. Yeah. So like they're middle school. Like they're not really tapped in. Maybe a little bit, right? But we were there. Like we were college. We were presently in the moment of the Meek beef, right? So you had to think like people like them, and then even the kids even younger, the kids who are 16 now, right? Like they were like what, 4?
Yeah.
Like the people who are like 15, 16 now, they were like literally like 5, 6 years old back then, right? Like elementary school, so they weren't really aware. So I feel like a lot of people are like people didn't know about Drake having sex with Lil Wayne's girl while he was in jail.
Mm-hmm.
We knew because that's like was like crazy when we found that out. Like whoa, like that was wild, but that was so long ago. Like when we were like in middle school, high school, right? These kids weren't even born yet, right? Or they might have been like 2.
Yeah.
So it's
him
like
getting peed on,
him
punching
getting
in
peed
the
on.
face,
Like a lot of people
all
are
that
like,
kind of
whoa,
stuff.
what is this? What is this? Because they just know Drake as present day in his prime, in his peak, and it's in his popularity, but they don't know the Drake that we remember, like from Degrassi, the nerdy weird guy who with the Canadian accent, like the Jewish guy, like that's who we known him as. And yeah, we saw what he grew into, but we still know who he is, and we've seen all the scandals in real time. So it's like I think now the public perception is changing so much because it's almost like Drake was able to get away with the fact that so many people weren't aware of these things. Even the stuff that happened not so long ago with the Millie Bobby Brown stuff, a lot of people weren't really fully tapped into like all the weird stuff with that girl, that Bella Harris woman. All the different weird stuff. Even now, like, we're gonna get to this topic later, but like with Ruby Rose, like we were there for a lot of the stuff where a lot of older men were messing with young girls, and we seen it in real time, and it kind of got swept under the rug because no one really talked about it. So then the new generation doesn't understand or even know. So that's why why this was such a hard hitter, because it's like information that was already kind of known by a lot of people is becoming known again, or reminded. People are being reminded, and you're able to now put it together a piece of puzzle, right? Like Drake has all the weird stuff with the minor stuff, right? Or like the younger people. But now you have so much evidence over the years from earlier stuff, from that incident on the stage to some of his lyrics. And now you can paint this whole picture where it's like, okay, there's a pattern there. Before you might have had a piece of it. Like we might have just been the Millie Bobby Brown. I'm like, okay, we have that. Oh, in the stage incident. But now there's so much. There's this whole big painting. And it's just like, it's just crazy. And then, obviously that him getting ab surgery. There's just so many different angles, and like people just realizing like, okay, this guy is kind of weird and corny. Yeah, he is a culture vulture. Like the culture vulture thing been an accusation for him, right? But now it's like, okay, Kendrick just broke that down. Like, yeah, he really did go to Atlanta and take all this stuff. Like, oh yeah, he look at him talking about slaves. Oh, look at him using Tupac and Snoop Dogg. Like, yeah, this guy is really corny. Like, okay, he has good music, but wait, he really is corny. And I've been peeped this, right? Back in like 2016. Like, you guys can see the tweets on my page, old text messages. I've been a Drake hater, low key. Like, I've always acknowledged he has great music, always acknowledged his talent. Like, I'm not a hater. But I just always thought he was a cornball and weird and did people dirty and grimy. And now it's like this mass awakening, and it's just crazy. Like, and I knew Kendrick would be the person to do it. I didn't doubt once in this beef that Kendrick wasn't going to be able to go head to head with him. Like, at its core, like you can't, a true Black American versus a guest to the culture. Like the people who are true to the culture are always going to be able to resonate with the real people in the culture. Like at the end of the day, like yeah, Drake's going to resonate with the popularity, but Kendrick is going to tap in with the culture, and in this case, he got the popularity also. So that, he just wins. So. Yeah, who would have thought I was hoping for this day. Really I was hoping for this day, but who would have? I'm just kidding. I wasn't sitting around like waiting for the downfall of Drake. No, I really wasn't. Like I actively don't think about that man, like, or his music. I really don't. Like some stuff happens. I'm like, oh my god, he's so corny. But I never foreseen a downfall, so I never anticipated it. You know what I mean? Like I just never anticipated it because he's so popular. Am I like kind of happy to see people kind of hate on him? Yeah, but at the end of the day, like it's just more so I want everybody to be exposed for who they are, for people to like not get away with stuff. Like that's my whole thing at the end of the day. I hate when people get away with corny shit. I hate when people get away with fraud shit. So I just like when people are finally able to acknowledge like the lameness of somebody. So, I don't wish bad on nobody, but I just wish for everybody to be exposed for who they are. Like, and I'm just glad that this is his time. And if he is really doing some pedophile stuff, like I really do hope there's some type of, justice, because that is like foul. Like we don't know for sure, but who people were shocked when R. Kelly and Bob, Bob, what's his name? Bill Cosby,
Bob.
like Bob, I was about to say Bob Cosby, Bill Cosby, like those are for a lot of those people, that was their idols, that were their heroes. So I know for Drake's a lot of people's heroes and idols, but these are still human beings at the end of the day who have some weird, things that they do. So, and those things are true. I hope that gets uncovered and exposed, because that's nothing to play with, bro. So.
All right.
Yeah, but who would have thought, right?
So
it's kind of weird. It is kind of weird seeing the general public kind of hate this man right now. But who knows? We'll see if this is long lasting or if this is just a trend.
Yep. And that was the latest beef update for now.
Yeah, who knows what we'll have a week from now. Ooh, it's kind of... It's definitely died down a little bit, right? This peak was definitely last week, but we'll see what happens, because there might be some like, all right, calm before the storm again, right? Like we might be in the eye of the hurricane right now, and then it goes back to being in the other side of it again. So we'll see.